Hello, welcome along to East London. Well, we end the year on a high in Bournemouth and we start the year with a bang in Liverpool with an absolute banger of a fight. It is Natasha Jonas versus Michaela Mayer. I am so excited for this one. Matt, Johnny, how much are you looking forward to this? It's a proper fight, this one.
It is. You've got two skilled, confident fighters that I think it'll be one of those class fights. We saw Katie Taylor the weekend boxing amazingly. It was such a level fight. This one is exactly the same. I think you've got two skillsets in there that want to stay at the top, that want to be at the top. One's hungry, one wants to keep her position in Natasha. And I've seen these two when they're milling around each other, when we work together. And there's a professional respect. But once keeping an eye on the other, I actually like that. I like the professionalism.
That's the thing as well. They're both great fighters, but both class pundits as well, aren't they? And that's the other thing added to this one as well, Matt. I mean, there's a lot riding on this for both, isn't there?
Yeah, I think they're both at the top of the game, but they're both, if either were to lose, they're going to lose a lot of the momentum that they've built up to get to this point. I think it's a great clash of styles as well. I think you've got Tasha, southpaw, bigger puncher, and then you've got the work rate, technical, long-range skills of Michaela. So it's a great matchup.
Since Michaela lost to Baumgart on that brilliant all-female card, she's slowly been coming up in weight, hasn't she? But this is her first time campaigning at 147. How do you think she'll fare? I mean, Natasha's had that time, hasn't she? Since last year, she's come up, she jumped up a fair amount of weight, but she's settled, hasn't she?
Natasha is the one that's most solid at the weight. I think Michaela will realise the jump up is a big jump up when she gets in with such a big puncher like Natasha. And if she loses this, I wouldn't be surprised. She said, I'm going to step down the weight because that was hard. So for Natasha, she knows what she's got to do. She's got to put the pressure on from the off. She's got to hit her hard, hit her solid, keep her under pressure, drag her around, be physical, use her physicality on Michaela to let her understand you have stepped up into my weight division. This is where I feel most comfortable. Whereas Michaela needs to use speed, needs to use movement, bash boxing tactics. Because if she gets into a war, the last person to do that with is Natasha, because she does that very naturally.
How do you think it will affect things for Michaela, Matt?
I don't know. I mean, you've got to remember, Natasha came up in weight because there was an opportunity.
It was a big jump.
It was a big jump. She wasn't struggling to make weight. It was just the opportunity came and she jumped 2 weights, I think, at the time. Obviously, she's grown into that. She's got comfortable at that weight. She's a solid puncher. Michaela did move up in weight. I think she really was struggling, with the weight she's tall. She's got a big frame. I think the extra pounds, she'll feel comfortable. I think she'll be a lot more energetic.
Because it affects everything, doesn't it? In terms of training, your camp, everything. You have to adapt it all.
Everything. If you don't get enough food, then you don't recover as well from the sessions. And everyone's got an optimum fighting weight, but I think she probably stayed at that weight a little bit too long. Lost the fight against Baumgart, which, by the way, I thought I had Michaela winning that fight. There was nothing in it. It could have gone either way. It was a really close fight. Well, look, it's a brilliant fight. I think, being here in the UK, Natasha's got that home advantage.
This is the thing, isn't it? I mean, you probably can't see behind us. Maybe you did. Michaela's there having a picture. She's very well versed at fighting over here in the UK. She does a bit of punditry over here as well. But she is going into the Lion's Den. I mean, Liverpool as a fight venue, we know it's loud anyway. But put Natasha there as well, Johnny. That's a different story.
The similarity both fighters have is a cool and a calm under the pressure. And I'm quite sure if it's vice versa, Natasha would be the same going over to Michaela's backyard. So I don't think the location is going to make any difference whatsoever. No, not at all. I think Michaela's a very confident individual. She's one of those fighters that walks in the ring with a bit of a chip on her shoulder anyway, no matter what. And so now she's a hungry fighter that thinks I'm quite sure she'd love to establish herself over here a lot more. So to do that, she's got to be comfortable wherever you are. And in reality, if you're a champion, if you become a champion, if you're a world champion, you should be able to box anywhere in the world and come back a champion. So when you go in to fight for a world title, that's the responsibility of being a champion. You've got to believe you can do it anywhere.
So are you not seeing it as an advantage to Natasha?
No, I don't. Because I think Natasha's seen the good and the bad side of our sport. From one second being the hero, being the darling, and then when she loses, everybody's writing her off. So it toughens you up. You think, all right, okay. Now what's important to me is what my trainer says, what I think and my team think, and that's it. So, and that's like, it's a harsh lesson to learn for most fighters.
I don't know. I think it is a plus for Natasha that it's in Liverpool. We've seen the weekend. Katie Taylor.
This is what I was about to say.
When it's hard and it's close and there's a couple of rounds left and you're feeling tired and you got the whole crowd cheering you on, willing you on, cheering you every punch.
And this is where Natasha's learned a trade as well. This is how she's come up through her career, so she has that behind her. So you're not seeing it as Johnny is. So
I get what Johnny's saying. It's not that I disagree. I just believe that. I'd rather be fighting in Liverpool if I was Natasha than be fighting in America. Put it that way.
Yeah, it's a fair point, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's interesting when you look at the bookies because it is so hard, isn't it, to pick who the favourite is going into this one. Johnny, who are you going with at this stage? Who do you think is the favourite?
I've written Natasha off before when I thought, you know what, she's slowing down. She's I think her time is now, and her time is close. She's probably got 2 or 3 good fights.
She's 39, but she's in a prime.
So I'm quite sure if she loses again, she'll probably walk away. She'll think, you know, I've done enough. But I think Natasha is experienced enough, smart enough, fit enough, and still young enough to actually be the favourite, as far as I'm concerned, in this fight. But I do believe 2 or 3 fights down the line, she'll walk away from this game to say, you know what, that's all I need. I actually thought she'd do that after she won the title, but she hasn't. So she still realises she's got a lot more to give.
It's funny how, you know, everything happens for a reason, and sometimes you don't understand why certain things are happening. But if you look at Natasha, like I said, she moved up in weight because of the opportunity. But actually, that probably has given her some longevity in her career because she hasn't got to boil down. She hasn't had to make the weight. She's actually grown into it. And as you're getting older, struggling to make that weight, you know, ages you, it's tough, it's hard. So it probably, you know, really worked out for that opportunity that time.
But also I was listening to the podcast with Andy, the Toe to Toe podcast, and Michaela made a good point about female fighters, that they actually can go on longer because they haven't got as many miles on the clock. They haven't, you know, necessarily been in the sort of fights that men have. So, you know, 39 for Natasha, we shouldn't all be thinking, you know, is she coming to her end? She could have plenty more in the tank.
I've seen many female fighters come over here in their early 40s, but we've got to remember, we knew Natasha's growth from the amateurs, how she represented the country, and now we've seen her rise and fall as a professional. Now she's risen again. So again, eventually it takes its tone on it. And the fighter knows deep down inside. And so I'm quite sure the fresher of the two is Michaela, in my opinion. But I think the more experience, the experience will show it all, and I think that's what will work for Natasha.
What kind of fight do you think it will be?
I think chess match early doors. Particularly because Natasha's a puncher and she's a southpaw, so Michaela's got to be careful how she approaches it, how she initiates the attacks. But I think that Michaela will want to set the tempo. She will want to make Natasha fight at a pace that's probably a little bit hotter than what she's used to. But she can't just force it on her because Natasha carries power. So those early rounds are going to be interesting.
What do you think, Johnny?
Wow. I actually think, again, a chess match. But I think Natasha's power will start to take. That would be the sting. That would be the sting in the tail for her. And I think that's
where shots too, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's where Michaela will then have to reevaluate her attack, reevaluate how she's going to fight. Because I'm quite sure she's going to try and take pace and the amount of shots she fires off. But when she gets hit and gets hurt and starts getting pushed back, because she will do, then she'll have to think twice about it. Will she walk into the eye of the storm and try and fight in the eye of the storm, or will she use her boxing ability? If I was Michaela's team, I'd say use her speed, use her ring, use your movement. You're the younger, you're the fresher, do this. If I was Natasha's team, I'd say close her down, get her into a dogfight. So I think this can work one or two ways. Depends on how disciplined Michaela is. Or will her ego get the better of her and think, well, I'm gonna walk through her.
That's the thing. I feel like Michaela might want to be putting on a show. She might want to be sort of making a statement over here in the UK, Matt.
Well, I think she'll feel that she's certainly got to take the fight to Natasha. Yeah. She's got to go and really take that tight, But I think the body shots will be key for Natasha. That straight left into the solar plexus and then finish up top with the right hook, because Michaela can be a bit upright at times. It's a great fight.
It's a great fight, and I'm sure both fighters, Johnny, would have watched Katie and Chantel at the weekend and be thinking, I'd like a piece of that. You know, they're going on to have a trilogy, and potentially this fight, it could be something like that between the two of them.
Listen, again, if you've got two fighters agreeing and disagreeing on how this can turn out, it shows how even this fight is and shows how close this fight can be. Unless Natasha surprises again and that one shot makes all the difference. But I think this fight is so tight. You have youth against experience of an experienced champion to say, I can do this. You know, this is where I belong. And you've got someone that's stepping up into her weight division. So there's every argument to say why one would win over there. But to me, I think it's a good, close fight. I think it'll be an exciting fight, especially in Liverpool.
Do you think either fighter, Matt, are looking, there's Tasha there looking all smiles. First on the table, Tasha. You're early. Tasha's early at the table. Do you think either fighter are looking beyond this fight?
No, definitely not.
It's one of those, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely not. I think there's... Look, there was a lot of trash talking the last time Michaela was over here because Baumgartner, they just really clashed, didn't they, personality-wise? I think there's a lot of mutual respect between Natasha and Michaela. No needle, no grudge, no resentment, none of that. But I think there's a healthy respect there. They know, both of them know that they've got to be at the absolute top of their game to get the win here.
Do you think we're going to see anything up there today? Any back and forth? No, not at all.
Not at all. I think these girls
I don't know, you know.
No, these girls are very respectful. I think they don't need to. And funny enough, people think that's what you need to sell a fight. I think if you know boxing, you know it's going to be a good fight. They want to put themselves on a match. I'm quite sure they'll take no foolishness from any either. If one disrespects the other, they'll pull them up on that. Natasha's a mom. She's like, hey, come on, I
don't need this.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm quite sure it'll be very professional, very clean. We've got to appreciate the professionalism of both fighters.
Yeah, they're both all up there, smiles. I mean, that's what we're used to from Tasha anyway, isn't it? The smiley Tasha that we know.
Yeah, definitely. And Michaela's very businesslike as well. She understands that it's not just a sport, it's also a business. I haven't seen many fighters sort of put themselves out and really work the room in
what
terms
did you
of...
just say?
Yeah, Natasha's watching like listening like, no, we're good.
We're talking about
I don't want to pull my chair away when I sit down ringside to do commentary, but it's actually good. Look how relaxed they both are. And both fighters are actually... The character is commendable for especially for female boxing. If you want to see an advert for it, check out these two. Look at how they conduct themselves. Look at how this fight turns out. And I think it's such an advert for female boxing.
And there are rumours that we might be doing an all-female card again next year, and it'd be great to see both of them, wouldn't it, Matt, on that card again?
Well, I'm sure this is going to be a cracker.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be close, whatever way it goes. So, maybe they'll do the rematch.
I think the Liverpool thing's going to be interesting. I really do, with that crowd that can be hostile, Johnny.
Liverpool is a good night when it comes to boxing. If you've got a good headliner on, Liverpool's a great, passionate night for any sport. And so Natasha's support that she has there is ridiculous. And so she's a bit of a celeb over there. And so she was getting me into the clubs. So I think Liverpool will be banging that night on the 20th.
Right, we're going to get over to Andy because I can feel Tasha's eyes burning in the back of our heads. All right, let's get over to Andy for this press conference.
Well, a very good afternoon and welcome to the Andaz Hotel here in Liverpool Street. Thank you all for coming down and spending your time to visit us here. This is fast becoming the venue of choice when announcing big fights, top quality matchups, and this contest that we're announcing today is no exception. On January 20th at the M&S Bank Arena in Liverpool, two-weight world champion Natasha Jonas, Miss GB, will defend her IBF welterweight title against former unified super featherweight champion Michaela Mayer. Congratulations to Boxer and Top Rank for working through this to deliver a brilliant fight for Sky Sports fans kicking off 2024. I'm delighted to say that we're now in an era where we no longer have to say women's boxing, but there can be no denying that this represents another great night and shows how far the sport has truly come. In terms of quality, you'll be hard pushed to find a better style matchup. Natasha, after years of being on the wrong side of history, is finally getting her moment in the spotlight, and what a run she's on. Ben Shalom and Boxer's first world champion, a former Olympian who takes part in her 5th straight world title contest. 2 of those she's won by near shutout and the other 2 by stoppage. In Michaela Mayer, we welcome back a fighter who we've had a terrific working relationship with, despite the international culinary incidents that she's caused on social media over the last 48 hours, but we can forgive you for that. All jokes aside, we've seen firsthand how technically sound, how strong and how spiteful she can be. A very good ring IQ, terrific work rate, and only she will know how beneficial this extra weight will be. A battle of two great boxing minds, or three if you actually count in the corner teams as well. Joe Gallagher on the side of Natasha Jonas, and Coach Al Mitchell and Coach Kay Karoma in the other. 10 rounds or less will decide who will be walking away as IBF welterweight champion. There's plenty of discussion and analysis in the build-up from both sides, and we look forward to getting our teeth into that on Sky Sports. For now, just a quick word with Ben Shalom before we get to the fighters. Behind the scenes, a lot of work on both sides of the Atlantic, but I'm sure, I speak for Top Rank as well, but from a boxer point of view, you must be delighted to get this one over the line.
Yeah, delighted. I mean, what a journey it's been with Natasha. I have to thank Top Rank for this as well, but this is our 5th world title fight together. She's broken so many records. I think when you sit down and you think what's left to achieve, a headline night in Liverpool against another icon of this era of women's boxing that's broken through. What Michaela Mayer has done for US boxing since 2017 is incredible as well. We've had her over before in her only defeat, a controversial defeat. So for her to come back and be Natasha's dance partner in her hometown, she deserves a lot of credit. We saw on the weekend Katie Taylor in Ireland and the atmosphere that was created there. It'll be the same in Liverpool on January the 20th. So yeah, delighted, very, very excited, and a huge fight for boxing.
Brilliant. I'll come back to you later for ticket updates, but let's start with the champion. Tasha, great to see you. Unless I've got this wrong, I think that this is the first fight at home since Patricia Bergholt back in September of 2022. How important was it for you to get this fight at home, to do it in front of Liverpool, where you've had to go to Manchester and do it, but to do it at home in Liverpool?
Yeah, Manchester's not too far away, and it's been good to me. As Ben said, you know, we've won a lot of world titles, only one being in Liverpool, but there's no place like home, and Liverpool's home to me. So yeah, she is going to come into the Lions Den. I respect her for that. But yeah, we're going to have a good night of boxing, which Liverpool's renowned for. Yeah,
I think it will be a surprise if it doesn't sell out, and the majority of those fans are going to be there for you. What sort of atmosphere do you think that they will create?
Yeah, well, we've got a lot of Irish blood in Liverpool, so it would be no dissimilar to the one that was happened at the weekend. And yeah, just a great occasion, and yeah, like I say, a good fight, and the fans appreciate that. The Liverpool supporters will appreciate that.
Taking weight out of it, would you consider this your toughest test as your reign as world champion? Yeah,
most definitely. A win against Michaela Mayer would be the best name on my record so far. So yeah, like I say, I respect everything that she brings and everything that she comes with, and I'll prepare myself the best.
We spend a lot of time asking fighters to talk about their opponent's weaknesses, but what are her strengths?
She's got a lot. I was part of the Sky commentary team that in a fight against Baumgartner, which I thought she won. So yeah, she's got a lot of strength. She's got a good jab, good footwork, good IQ, and she's well schooled. You know, she's come up through them same Olympic ranks, and yeah, I just think everything that she can bring, I can do better.
Let's bring her in now. You gave a great line on Sky Sports News yesterday. Welcome back, firstly. Thank you for coming over and breaking training camp. You said the fighters made the fight. I've given loads of credit to Ben Shalom and Top Rank, but actually you said behind the scenes, even if you didn't say too much to each other, that the two of you were pretty hell-bent on making this fight.
Yeah, I think it's a fight we both wanted, and it was pretty easy to make because we both wanted it, you know, and even when, and I'm sure she had to deal with the same thing, but even when George came back to me with the topics of negotiation, I said, yeah, I want to have it in Liverpool, yeah, just make the fight. You know, we both wanted it, and this is just proof of what happens when you have two fighters who genuinely want to make the fight happen.
And you were happy to come to Liverpool. It does give her home advantage. She's plied her trade up and down the UK, but it will be at home in the Lions Den. It will be a new experience for you.
Yeah, well, I already figured it would be in the UK because she's a champion, so I'm realistic there. And so, I mean, what's the difference between Liverpool and the UK? I mean, it might be a little bit rougher to walk into that scene.
There's probably 9,000 Scousers that are the difference.
That kind of excites me, though. I think it will challenge me, and I usually rise to the occasion under pressure like that. So I think it'll be fun. And also, I think everything Natasha has accomplished, that she deserves a fight in her hometown of Liverpool. So I suspected that would be something that they asked for, and I had no problem giving it to them.
Another new experience will be championship weight 147. How have you found the move up in weight so far? I mean, one of the things that you keep saying is everybody keeps coming up to you and saying how well you look, which is a good thing. But how have you found, even at this point in training camp, what the biggest differences have been?
I think the biggest difference is just I'm enjoying training camp more. Like, to me, before, training camp sucked. It was not fun. It was hard work. I was fine with the hard work because I'm a fighter and that's what I do, and I just assumed that I was in a hard training camp doing what every fighter does because I had been doing that for so long. But I almost forgot it doesn't have to be that hard. It's enjoyable. I forgot how much I love the sport because for a while I was just exhausted, and it was hard. It was hard to get through a 10-week training camp on a calorie deficit like that. So I'm having fun again, which I think is good, for my mind, and I'm able to think more. My IQ has gone up because I'm not just, tired surviving through the rounds, surviving through the weeks. I'm thinking and I'm enjoying and I'm having fun, and I just feel like this year has been a big year of growth for me. It hasn't been my best year, my most exciting year, but I've taken a lot of steps to better my training and better my position and just better myself as a fighter and athlete, and I really do feel good at this weight, and I hope that comes through on the 20th. This is my first fight at 147 and my first camp feeling this full and healthy, but I hope that comes through.
You're very focused on building a legacy, and I've heard your team talk about the plan that you've got in mind. Does that plan, is it more important now that this fight, you have to win it, and ultimately is now the most important fight of your career, because presumably that plan is based on you winning, losing is not an option?
Yeah, so these are the type of fights that I want to be a part of, right? And if I want to continue to make big fights like this, I need the leverage, and that belt's going to give me the leverage. So I have to win this fight if I want to continue and have the career that I've always dreamed of having.
How do you rate her as a fighter? How highly?
High. On paper, she's the best fighter I'll have faced. She's the first Olympian I'll have faced, and just us both being in a handful of world title fights and being at the level that we are. There's only a handful of girls that really have a big name in this generation right now, and we're two of them. And once again, we're putting ourselves on the line, her belt on the line, my record on the line, my just everything, because this sport is so unforgiving. One loss can set you back, and so I can't afford to have another setback. And she's a tough fighter, definitely top rated, and someone that I have to get through and believe that I can.
In terms of punch power on paper, you have got the higher knockout percentage. Do you believe that you hit hard enough to get to Michaela, to potentially stop Michaela? How confident are you in your own punch power?
Actually, I train for 10 hard rounds. I nearly said 12 then.
Train for 12?
I do train for 12, but I only do 10. But I train to complete all the fights, and if I get them out early, that's just a bonus. I know I've got punch power, but I don't rely on that. Anyone can hit anyone in the right place at the right time, and they can go down and not get back up. So I don't just rely on that. There's a lot more skill to boxing than just that.
With that in mind, do you believe that she can hurt you? There is that quote, I'm not sure where it originated, that she can't hurt you. That you can't be hurt by her.
I don't know. Everyone can be hurt, like I said, but I do think it takes a little bit of time to adapt to, carrying the extra weight around and being hit by heavier people, because you're used to fighting people who are a lot lighter, and when you get up and I managed that against the care, and I realised the physical difference that it was. So I think she will be surprised by that.
Would you concede this is the best weight for you? This is the most natural weight for you, 147?
147, 140, probably the most natural.
She was a very good amateur herself. If it's a boxing match, forgetting what I said earlier about punch power, do you believe that you have better boxing fundamentals than Michaela?
I do, yeah. I just think whatever she can bring, I can do better, and that's the be all and end all.
Presumably you disagree with that?
No offense, I'm just having a really hard time understanding her and what she's saying, but I think that she said she is better boxer. Yeah. Well, I mean, she should think that, right? We all think that. That's why we're here. That's why we're putting our record on the line and putting everything on the line to go up against each other when we could have done something else, done something easier. So I hope she feels that way. I obviously feel the same way. So that's going to put on an even greater fight for the fans.
One of the things we don't know is about your punch power. Presumably punch resistance is better at 147, but what about punch power? Do you believe, even though we've said that on paper she's got the more knockouts, do you believe that coming up to 147 that actually you could match that perhaps we're looking past the fact that you might have very good punch power at 147?
Yeah, I wouldn't look past me because I've been doing everything that I can this past year. I've slowly moved up. I've took a couple fights, 135, then 142 to prepare myself for 147 because I know it's not just about gaining weight. You have to gain proper weight. I want to be strong enough to hang with the bigger girls. But I mean, it's no secret that I'm big. I'm huge. I was huge for a 130-pounder, so I'm going to fit into the 147 realm of girls just fine. I'm still going to be bigger than most. I still tower over Tasha. But I've been working on making sure I take that strength in there too. So that's the last piece to my puzzle, right? I have the work rate. I have a high punch count. You're not going to bully me. I'll bully you right back. And I have the speed, and I have the height, and I have the range. So, my goal has been sitting on my punches and putting it all together.
If you put it all together, I'm quoting verbatim now, but what Tasha said was that anybody, if they get hit in the right place, can go. Anybody can be knocked out. If you hit her in the right place, do you believe you can knock her out?
Yeah, of course. Punch placement, I have the technique. And just, relaxing and trusting in the process. I think one of the things that I've really been working on is just seeing things more, picking my shots, and not just fighting and getting through it. And now that I feel good and I have that strength, I see my IQ growing. I see myself setting stuff up more. It's one of the reasons I wanted 3-minute rounds for this fight, because my IQ level has grown, and I want to make it more of a technical boxing fight and more strategy. I want time to play out that strategy that I know I can do, and that I think elite boxers show in a 12-round fight or a 3-minute fight. And 10 rounds is it's almost, I'm like outgrowing the 10 2-minute rounds. And so I did ask for 3-minute rounds for this fight, but, it takes two to agree to that, and it didn't seem like Natasha or her team wanted to make it happen.
Did you want to have a comment on that? I mean, it's probably a wider discussion for another day.
I didn't ever know, to be fair. Sorry.
I was hoping you would say that. Actually, I was hoping you would say that, because now there's still plenty of time.
Look, I think there's a huge debate around 2 minutes and 3-minute rounds. I think Tasha's boxed at 2 minutes for the past all the world title fights. For me, it's the most exciting format at the moment. I think the reason we've seen such a rise, I mean, look at here today. To think 2 years ago, I think we headlined with Savannah Marshall. We struggled. There's so many eyebrows raised. To be here 2 years on and to have this level of interest in women's boxing, and to be able to open a year like next year with a fight like this, it's incredible. And I think a lot of that is down to the entertainment that women's boxing is providing right now. I think it's on a phenomenal trajectory, and I think a lot of it comes down to the explosiveness of the rounds, and I think that's something that we want in Liverpool in January.
So it was you, Ben.
I think it was me, yeah. I think, to be honest, there's still, how many fights have been at 3-minute rounds? Is it just Serrano?
2 or 3, yeah, but
Nicola Adams as well here in the UK was the first, I think.
Yeah, Nicola Adams. Listen, if Tasha was insistent and wanted to do 3-minute rounds, we'd be open to it, but we want the best spectacle we can.
I promise you that give us 3-minute rounds and you'll still get that work rate, you'll still get that pace. The important thing is that this is such a big topic right now, and this is the generation of women that can make that transition. Girls like me and Tasha, and we're already coming together to make this fight happen at our level. And if we don't do it, we can't expect any change. We are the ones that have to do it. We are the ones that have to set that example.
Tasha?
Yeah, good point. I've never said no. It wasn't never put on the table, so I've never said no.
Look at this live negotiations.
Watch this
I mean,
space.
I should have just came to you with a piece of paper, wrote down everything that you want, everything that I want, and we could have done it ourselves.
Yeah.
2
Well,
and 3 minute rounds.
George?
I think you need to speak to Joe Gallagher first.
Probably something we're not going to agree on right now, but interesting discussion nonetheless. Ben, may I ask you a question? What do you think happens next for the winner and what for the loser? I know you don't represent Michaela, but in terms of the jeopardy of this fight, what for the winner, what for the loser? It
is a huge fight. I think for Natasha, it's as she said, it's her biggest name. This is a legacy fight. For Michaela, she has to win as well. There's huge names, obviously. Chantel Cameron, Katie Taylor at the weekend. We'll see what happens there. Lauren Price is looking at this fight with interest as well. But this is, I feel, a must-win for both of them. I really do. I think Michaela had such a controversial loss. She's now coming up to welterweight, deserves a lot of credit. But Natasha has decided she wants the big names. You know, she could have chosen anyone. This is a voluntary defence. To go out there and choose an icon, really, a name like Michaela Mayer, shows what she wants to achieve now and shows what she wants from the sport. So there's a lot on the line. And yeah, I believe it's a must-win, and there's some big names for both of them after it.
Presumably you'll be giving ticket updates from your guys, but expecting it to near enough sell out, if not sell out?
Yeah, expecting it to sell out every time, whether in Manchester or Liverpool. Natasha's ticket selling ability is incredible. People have been crying out from Liverpool for her to have a homecoming. A special fight like this will sell out, and another amazing night for women's boxing. It's a special moment for Natasha. I think we were scrambling round when she first signed to find one world title. She's done 4 back-to-back. She now fights in a 5th world title. This is the fight that I think fans are looking forward to. This is the one that will really test her. And yeah, expect to sell out in Liverpool on January the 20th.
I'll give final word to the fighters. Tasha, you're probably sick of hearing this sort of thing, but there was a time where we thought that we would lose you. We'd probably gain you as an analyst, and you would sail out the sport without winning a world title. Just someone that was commended for coming really close and not quite getting your moment, you know, on stage, getting your flowers, I think is the phrase that Joe Gallagher likes to use. Well, now you've got a whole bunch of flowers, and to top a fight like this, to top a bill like this in an era like this, with all eyes on you, it must be very, very, want to use the right word, rewarding to stay the course?
No, definitely rewarding. I think, you know, there's very few fights that the fans are happy with, promoters are happy with, the platforms happy with, and the fighters are happy with. It's very hard to satisfy everyone, and this fight does that. And to do it, like I say, in Liverpool, in front of my own fans, I think it's something I deserve, and I'm something I'm well in doing.
And you're confident and still is what you'll be hearing.
And still.
Michaela, have you got a final message before you go? Presumably the words you're looking to hear and confident that you'll hear and the new.
Yeah, I mean, I have every intention of going in there on the 20th and coming out with that belt around my waist. Like, to me, there's no other option. So just know that we're both going to be laying it on the line in that ring, all 10 rounds. It won't disappoint. It's going to be exciting. So get your tickets and let's sell it out.
Yeah, I couldn't have put it better myself. We're going to break now for one-on-ones and head-to-heads, but all the ingredients for, a January Fight of the Year contender. I think we've got high hopes for it, and I'm sure that it will deliver. So we're going to break now for head-to-heads. Just try and keep low so people at the back and everyone will get their one-on-one opportunities. Thank you very much for coming today.
I think that's going to be an interesting conversation between Ben, Tasha and Michaela going on about the 3-minute round chat. I mean, that came up there, Matt, that Michaela wanted 3 minutes for this one, not the 2s.
Well, we were speaking off air there, me and you, and I said I think that would be a mistake. I think the reason why women's boxing is so good is because it is 2-minute rounds and it's fast and the tempo, and it's, you know, if you brought it to 12-3s, you'd lose that because you'd have to. No one can run a kilometre as fast as no one can run a mile as quick as they can run a kilometre. It's just a fact, you can't.
It's a fair point, but I guess from the women's point of view, that they want a fair crack. They want it to be all fair, do what the men do. You know, yes, Johnny, that would probably increase the chance of a knockout. But why not give them a fair run, the same as men, parity there?
I'm on the same page as Michaela. I think they should make them 3-minute rounds. I think if there's any fighters that need to make that difference on a big stage of these two here, I think it's if the guys do it, why don't the girls do it? I think. And
Michaela made a fair point of going, you know, the explosiveness, that's down to them, that's down to their training.
Exactly.
To
and the other thing is this. There's certain fighters, female fighters that are out there that would actually perform better doing 3-minute rounds and be more successful doing 3-minute rounds than 2-minute rounds. Because remember, when they're in the gym, most of the time they're sparring doing 3-minute rounds. This is what they do. So in the competition, I hated 2-minute rounds. You couldn't actually get anything done.
I did too, but I just think, you know, women's boxing, it's very pacey, isn't it? We've seen it, you know, Saturday night, the tempo. You lose that if you go to 3 minutes.
Yeah, but then you've got to depend on skill. And skill is what it's about. You know, if you've seen it with the guys, you've got to see it with the girls, and you'll get more knockouts. You'll get. It'll be more of a seesaw kind of fight because it's about not just about getting out that quick sprint. It's about discipline. It's about skill. It's about stamina. It's about mental stamina as well. And this is where you see the true depth and talent of fighters.
No, you'll gain stuff and you'll lose stuff. You'll gain all the things that Johnny just said there. But you will lose the tempo, you will lose the work rate because you just have to. That's just what will happen.
But not necessarily.
No, you will. It's a 3. No one can fight for 3 minutes as quick as they can for 2.
Listen, it could be great game playing by Michaela as well because in reality, she might be saying, you know what, I actually want a 3. Now she's put it on Ben and Natasha to say, well, listen, why don't we do this? And it might be exactly what she wants because she think this would suit her. Doing a 2-rounder, doing 3-minute rounds and 2-minute rounds. So it might be right situation, right stage. She's done it publicly. So what will happen now? Down the line, they'll say, well, look, you know, if it's say for instance the result doesn't go her way. She said, well, why don't we do 3-minute rounds? What's the issue there? You know, let's do it like the men do it. Why not? So I agree with her.
And like you say, Johnny, the show 20th of January in Liverpool could be a real statement, couldn't it, to do that in? I think it'll be an interesting chat. We'll talk to them a bit more about it when they come up after this face-off. But it is, I'm sure, going to be a discussion that's going to go on behind the scenes. But like Ben said, it needs to have Joe Gallagher involved. You need Coach Al. You need all sides singing from the same hymn sheet.
Yeah, and listen, it's fighters having the bottle to do it. They've got to. I actually agree. I think it's something. I remember speaking to Robert Smith about it. Why not? And he said it's their choice. And so now make the choice.
I think Tasha's going to come up and join us. Hello, love. How are you feeling? We were having a really interesting chat/debate there about the point that Michaela brought up about potentially wanting the 3-minute rounds, and you're saying that's the first you sort of heard of it. How do you feel about it?
I do actually genuinely think 3-minute rounds suits my style of boxing. I think different results could have swayed results in different fights. But yeah, we'll discuss it.
Do you normally train 3 minutes in the gym anyway?
I do train 3 minutes, and then obviously as the fight gets closer, and I knock it down to 2s.
What do you think to Matt? So Matt's point is that
I said no one can fight 3 minutes as fast as they can too. That's a fact.
Yeah.
And I think some of the fights we've seen, like Saturday night, the tempo, the ferocity, it'd have to slow down if it was 3 minutes. Now, it's going to suit some people. I think 3 minutes would probably suit you because you're more of a thinker fighter. You sit down on your shots more.
Essentially, you're feeling that the women's boxing might lose.
Well, I think you'd lose the excitement because it's so fast, it's so pacey. That's what makes it so exciting to watch. You know, for example, I think Katie Taylor went to 3 minutes. It wouldn't suit her style. Yeah. It might suit yours because you're a puncher and you sit down on your shots and you think about it a bit more.
That's the difference between a sprinter and a marathon runner.
Yeah.
And so then it's about depth to say, you know what, I'll show you, I am better than you because over 3 minutes, this is the skill I've got. So are we really seeing the best beat the best over 2 minutes or over 3 minutes? The best fighter will go in there technically outthink, outmove, outbox the fight that's in front of them. So that's why I've always sided think when are they gonna make female boxing 3 minute rounds to see the real talent
and to achieve ultimate parity, or at least taking a giant leap towards that. You know, it's a big step in the right direction.
I'll be asking for an increase in pay. I'll tell you
exactly,
that.
But that opens that debate then, doesn't it? even more so, right?
Yeah, 100%. One of the biggest things I think about, people say that they want to see more knockouts, and then, you know, we have big fights, we have big knockouts, and then people are like, oh, I didn't like that for women. And so I think as it's growing, that maybe it's not what people say and the reality of what they say is two different things. So I do agree for that, but I do think for me personally that it's a good thing.
So hypothetically, would that be something you would be open to for this show, or is it too late to make that call?
Yeah, potentially I will speak to Ben afterwards. Like I say, it was never something that was put to me, and Ben did just say it quite quietly off thing. He was like, well, it's the speed, it's the thing, the velocity, and everything that you've just said, Matt. So
I do think that 3 minutes would probably suit Natasha, but I think generally 3 minutes you'd lose what makes women's boxing so exciting.
Given the opportunity, Matt.
It's all about choice.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. The opportunity's there. Take it or leave it, but allow it to be across the board.
Every single fight, if you're doing 2 minutes and 3 minutes, every fight's going to be an argument over who wants the 2, who wants the 3, who it suits better. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to make a decision. It's 2.
It could be the shout of the champion.
Can't keep it change.
It could be the shout of the champion, you know, and a challenger could actually shame the opponent in saying, well, you know, put that kind of pressure on. I like this debate. And again, I spoke to Robert Smith about it, and he said it's their choice. But I like the debate, and I think I'd push it towards doing 3-minute rounds because I love the skill of our fight game, and we see amazing fights with the guys at 3-minute rounds, knockouts, smarts, how a fight can change from the first half of the fight to the second half of the fight because of stamina, because of what they put in. And I'm quite sure most of the time Michaela and Tasha in the gym are working 3-minute rounds. And to all of a sudden do a 2-minute rounds, I can imagine it being a nightmare for some fighters.
Yeah, it's...
Sorry to butt in, but some sanctioning bodies as well don't like. I think the WBC have come out this week and said that they're not ever going to allow a 3-minute round for one of their belts for females. So, you know, as you progress through to wanting to be unified or whatever, then that could be an issue if you're going to swap and change every time.
You know, on social media, I saw Sugar Ray Leonard against Donnie Alon, and they were fighting for the super middleweight title. I think it's the anniversary of it. Now, at the time, the super middleweight division was like, it was new, and everybody's thinking it's a made-up title. Now, all of a sudden, the super middleweight, it's a big deal. It'll take people like you, Natasha and Michaela, to all of a sudden say, no, this is where we are. This is what we've got to. Someone's got to draw the line to step over it. So let's do it.
I am being told we've got to let Tasha go, but before we do, Tasha, we've got to talk about the fight. So we've had a bit of a debate there. Really interesting debate. I think it's going to get a lot of people talking at home. It was a really respectful press conference between the two. We said it before. We weren't ever sure if there's going to be, you know, any sort of fiery back and forth between. How are you feeling after that, though?
I feel all right. I feel calm. I feel relaxed. That, you know, there's a line between, you know, motivated, driven, and anxiety. And right now, I'm just feeling motivated and driven, and I just want it to be January already.
And of course, you're going to have that Liverpool crowd behind you, which, at the best of times, is raucous. Pop you headlining. It's going to be mad in there. How much of an advantage do you see in that?
You know, you'd have to ask her after the fight, but you know, there is a thing called home advantage for a reason, and I think, you know, whether you consciously accept it or not, that it does play a part. Every shot I land is going to be a raw. You know, to get booed out as much as it's not nice and whatever, that can affect you.
This is Michaela's first fight at 147, and she's gradually been coming up. Are you feeling like you've had more time, haven't you, to settle at the weight, to sort of be more comfortable, fill out training-wise, everything? Are you feeling that could be more in your favour than Michaela's because she's not had that much time at 147?
Yeah, I do think it takes time to adapt and to grow into the weight. And like I say, you know, have the physicality of someone bigger. She's used to being the big girl against the lighter weights in the super featherweight division, and you know, but now she'll be coming up against someone who is naturally just as big as her. I might not be as tall, but I'm just as big and I believe I'm physically stronger.
How does Christmas look like for you in terms of training and stuff like that?
Slim.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's no selection boxes. It's going to be busy. I'm still going to eat. I don't struggle to make 147. That's why I said, you know,
135, 140.
Stop, roast dinners are not unhealthy. They're not bad. It's the selection boxes that
I don't know.
of
Michaela's looked a bit injured. It's not great, the one she had yesterday.
But you'll be in the gym, no rest.
Yeah, I'll be in the gym Christmas Eve. I'll be in the gym Boxing Day, and yeah, that's there's one day I'll look back at these times and I'll miss them. You don't always do it over Christmas. It's not great. It's not ideal. There's all types going around. There's flus, coughs, colds, sicknesses, and getting sparring partners in is tough. And working them days with a little girl, and Christmas Eve, Boxing Day, when you've got a little girl and wants to just play with her toys, it's going to be tough. But
relish it.
It's worth it. It's worth it for them nights like on the 20th. It'll be worth it.
Yeah, we can't wait. It's going to be brilliant. And thank you very much. We'll let you go. I'm sure there's lots of other people that want to talk to you.
See you.
It's an interesting chat. I know we ended up talking mostly about that rather than the other stuff, but it's a debate that's going to keep going on, Johnny.
I think it's the way forward. I really do. And I've always thought that. I think I'll say it again, it takes a stage like this for it to happen and be respected and be the norm. And it might be the norm in about 2 or 3 years' time. But I actually hope this does happen. It does turn into 3-minute rounds.
I think he'll ruin it.
That's a big statement to make, Matt.
Yeah, I do. I think it'll ruin it. I think the reason why some of the best fights we've seen is because of the tempo, it's the pace, which would be unsustainable over 3 minutes. Naturally, the pace was slower. Yeah, it suits some fighters, definitely. But I think you lose the excitement.
Maybe these two will be the two people to prove you wrong, and I hope they do, Matt. I hope you eat your words. Whilst they were up there, and we said this to Natasha, it was a very respectful press conference. Do you think it was too respectful, slightly too much?
Look, I think they're a good bit out yet. You know what I mean? I think when they come together fight week, and they're all more on it then, and someone says what they're going to do and how they're going to win, people bite more. So it will catch fire, I think, the week of the fight.
What do you reckon, Michaela?
Oh, you're live.
Hi. Need to see you. Welcome. How long have you been over here?
How long?
Yeah.
I got here Monday.
Are you looking very fresh?
Tuesday, Wednesday, yeah. So
How's
I leave
the jet
tomorrow.
lag?
That's okay. I'm used to it.
She says through gritted teeth. We were just saying up there, the respect between the two of you, very much present. Nothing really sort of got between the two of you. Are you thinking as time goes on that might sort of go by the wayside a little bit, or is that not an issue?
I don't know, because I know we do have a lot of respect for each other. We don't really have that history of a rivalry. I kind of just hopped up to 147 recently, so it's not like we've been in the same division going at each other. I never really thought that I might have fight Natasha Jonas. She wasn't on my immediate hit list. But we'll see, because we have a face-to-face after this, so I'll let you know.
Let's talk about moving up to 147. This is your first fight up at that weight. How have you had to adapt training and everything to be at this weight? Because it must be all completely different in terms of camp.
Yes and no, because it's different because I'm not on a calorie deficit the whole camp, so I'm actually enjoying it a lot more. I feel like it's easier for me. I'm seeing things more in sparring, I feel like my IQ is growing because I'm not worried about my exhaustion.
Imagine even things like sleep. You probably sleep better because you've got a bit more food in your belly.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's the way I feel during camp. It was never a problem when I got into the fight. That was like the easy part. The hard part is the whole camp on the deficit. So now I'm having fun. I love it. And I've been working on my strength. I've been working on building my, gaining that weight in the right way. I don't want to just gain a bunch of weight. I want it to be usable, right, strong, because I want to be able to compete with these girls who've been at 147 for a while.
Sorry, Johnny.
How long is fight camp for you?
I like 10 weeks because I like to ease into it. And then we got like 7 weeks out now, right? So now you really kick it in.
So now you've gone up in weight, because some people spend part of that fight camp losing the weight, getting fit to start getting fit. So yours is all about concentrating on the fight itself, the technical aspect of it.
Yeah, always. I don't just go into camp to get in shape. even now, I've been pretty much been in the gym since my last fight.
Is that what you normally do? Do you normally train in between fights anyway?
Yeah, I do, but I do take some time off because I know I'm only fighting 3 times a year now. So Coach Al's always been adamant about like, don't burn out. Just do your workouts, go to the gym, but don't go crazy. And so I always take time off after fights. But after this fight, I made the big move to Vegas, got right back in the gym with Coach K, working on technique, nothing hard, just working on strategy and technique because I knew this was a big year for me.
Awesome.
And do you feel like this could be your best weight yet in terms of for you as a fighter?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the best, so we'll see. I think that's what makes this fight so intriguing is there's a lot of questions. Everyone has a lot of questions. It's my first fight at 147. Probably the toughest opponent Natasha has fought since she's moved up in weight. I don't think she's had like the caliber of fighters that she had at the younger weight. So, we'll see that, the age gap and all that. And these aren't my questions. These are, I think, everyone who's watching, but it also makes the fight a 50-50 fight.
Who do you see as a favourite, though? Who are you viewing as a favourite going into this one?
I mean, I obviously view myself as a favourite, but I think that she's the favourite going into Liverpool.
I was about to say, is that the home advantage side of things?
Yeah, I think like when it comes to the fans and the viewership, she's going to be the favorite. I mean, we're in Liverpool. You guys go so hard for your people out here. Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm expecting the boos. I'm expecting a rough crowd.
I don't think anyone's a favourite. I think it's viewed as a pretty much a 50-50 fight. I do.
The 3-minute debate.
I think that makes a difference, doesn't it?
Possibly.
Yeah, the 3-minute debate. Do you think that suits you rather than Tasha, or?
I definitely think it suits me. I don't know if it suits Tasha. I don't know what she spars in the gym. I don't know how she's feeling at this stage in her career. I feel great. I'd go, like I said, I sparred 12 3-minute rounds in the gym with guys circling out sparring partners. So I know I can do it. I get better as the rounds go on, the fight goes on. I've always said if I had a little bit more time, 2 more minutes, a few more rounds, that I would have a lot more stoppages on my record because that's my style. I break my opponent down over time. So I think it definitely favors me.
It's interesting as well because Tasha thinks it would suit her being 3 minutes as well. So maybe.
Good.
Then
we can do it.
He said it's a bad idea.
Yeah. That's not on the train yet.
Why?
I think it would ruin women's boxing. I think some of the best fights we've seen are because they're 2 minutes, because it's such high tempo.
How about you just make a statement, Matt? I think it will ruin women's boxing. I mean,
I will say that I don't think every female could do it. No. I don't. But I think that
having the choice.
Having the choice, that was the option. Right, but women like me and Natasha Jonas, like, we can. If we can't do it, nobody can.
Well, that's the difference between there and there. And that's why I'll keep saying that. And I'm quite sure there are a lot of fighters that like yourself that say, no, we want the 3-minute rounds. So maybe this stage, I actually hope you do put the pressure on. Maybe this stage is that stage to set the bar.
Yeah, like I said, if we don't make it happen and we don't push for it, then we can't expect any change from the people underneath us. Like we're the best right now. We're the names in this generation of women's boxing. So we have to set the tone and make it happen.
How do you beat Tasha? Where do you see Tasha's weaknesses in the ring?
I think I beat her by combining a little bit of what I do best. I've really been working on, like I said, my IQ and boxing and seeing things, which is why I want 3-minute rounds. I want that time to play out my strategy that I always have for a fight and sort of feel short on time. And then also my aggression and my punch output and my work rate. I'm still coming up from a lighter weight where I'm fighting girls that are still throwing a lot. The pace is a lot faster, where she's been at the higher weight a little bit longer. So, we'll see if she can hang with my punch output.
Are you looking beyond this fight? I think I heard you mention on the podcast that Sandy Ryan, people like that. Are you looking beyond this, or are you?
Well, I have a vision for the rest of my career for sure. I also have 2024 booked. You guys will see it unfold, but. I just know that if I want to continue to make big fights like this, I need the belt. I need the leverage. I don't want I don't want to repeat the year that I just had. Like, that's not inspiring to me. I want fights like Natasha and Sandy Ryan and Chantel Cameron and the big names.
We spoke about these. You look at Saturday between Katie and Chantel, and you think, that's going into a trilogy now. This could potentially be something like that. It could have the ingredients to be like that.
Yeah. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but...
Oh.
There's a plan.
Okay. You definitely know far more than we do here.
Yeah, I do.
Always the way. Best of luck. I see this is your fight colour.
This is my fight colour, so I know I'm going to Liverpool, Burgundy. But if you are Team Michaela...
Burgundy.
The burgundy, maroon-ish, whatever, I'm not going to be picky, but this shade, it's a dark red. If you're Team Michaela, throw this color on and show your sport for me because I'm going to need it there.
Like this. Okay.
Michaela always has a fight colour.
Oh, yeah, what do you mean?
That guy.
So fight night is going to be that colour?
Yeah, you don't know every fight I'm always wearing one color all week?
I do. I'm just trying to say. I'm
okay,
trying
this
to see
is
where
the
we're
color.
Going. Okay.
I
may even match it fight night.
Have you just cottoned on to this now?
Thank you.
Over here now.
Just changing it up.
No, I keep it solid. I keep it solid, one color.
You're going to be seeing a lot of it. Okay.
So you can hide it somewhere, so no one knows you're Team Michaela.
Too much. Best of luck. We'll be seeing you, I'm sure, before January the 20th.
Yep, I'll be around.
Okay.
Thanks,
good to
guys.
see you.
Cool.
Are we fisting
All right, might as well.
You can go and do your media bits and bobs. Ladies in demand, that went way over your head there, didn't it, gentlemen? Burgundy is the fight colour, and you were like, what?
Really? Oh. But I think we've seen both fighters step on stage, show their professionalism, their maturity, their ambition they still have in such a big fight. I think this is going to be one for the purists, and if they step it up to 3-minute rounds, I'm telling you now, you're going to see it's going to make the fight even more exciting because you'll see fatigued fighters having to fight through when they're tired and having digging deep in that last minute round. I think it'll make a massive difference.
Matt,
you like to sprint.
He just doesn't want to say anything, does he?
No, I've said it, haven't I? I think you lose the pace, you lose the ferocity, the tenacity, because that pace would be unsustainable if it was 3 minutes.
I just think if you've got two fighters saying they want to do it, why not let them make the choice and prove you wrong, Matthew? Anyway, that's it from us here. We do have a great show coming your way in January, though. January the 20th, live from Liverpool. It is Natasha Jonas versus Michaela Mayer. You don't want to miss it. But before that, we also have a brilliant show coming from Bournemouth on December the 10th. We shall see you then.